A little bit of big brain talk here, and something that has to be said. I think we're at an interesting time in society where we are at the death of an expert. Expert opinions, experts themselves are no longer being trusted. There's an interesting reason why. Well, let's just start off with the landscape we operate in. We operate in the attention economy. That is, the more views, the more better. Not the more right, the better, or the more product or production, the better. The more views, the better. And so what's happened nowadays is there are two things. One, it's hard to define and differentiate who an actual expert is. And then number two, those experts that exist, are they kind of, their own downfall at times? So let me explain. In a world where we have experts, an expert is someone who is multiple standard deviations away from the normal understanding and comprehension of a topic. And an expert is an expert in a specific area, not a general area. It's not applicable across multiple domains. It is applicable in their singular domain. So an expert is someone who, if you try to understand as a layperson, would be very difficult unless they are an expert communicator as well. So if you think about quantum physics and mechanics, and you are a layperson like myself in that area, and you try and understand it, the expert themselves wouldn't even bother to have time to talk to me because they wouldn't even begin. I wouldn't be able to understand the most elementary things that they are discussing. So as a layperson, they are so far ahead of me that me trying to understand them is fruitless, and to them, the conversation itself is useless. So what happens? Well, let's take a person who's not an expert, but maybe really well versed in that area, but a very good communicator. They themselves can present themselves as an expert because they can parrot the expert's knowledge. They can apply it in a way and converse it in a way to you, me, us, the lay people. And we go, wow, that person's really smart. They use big words. I don't really understand all of it, but it sounds like they're right. So what they're doing is they're positioning themselves as an expert, even though they themselves are not really an expert in that field. The reason why they can do that is because they can communicate, yes, but also because they garner attention with the communication and the attention economy and landscape that we operate in now. So what's happening is those experts that are experts aren't really being heard from, in the sense that their opinions aren't necessarily weighed and valued in the same way, because you might not even know who an expert is, because someone could be masquerading as an expert as they tell you something oh so important that they themselves have only learned from an actual expert. Plus, people who are experts in a field, like researchers, are doing research, not making podcasts more times than not. And so they're not really on or in the environment that we operate in terms of the attention environment. So what does this do? Well, if attention is the driving force in determining who is right and who is wrong, if someone has an opinion on a topic, there's always a counter opinion that is worth navigating, in the sense of you can garner some attention being the contrarian. So you have immediately a bipolar, one end versus the other, existence of opinions in any topic, because if we want attention, conflict is very good. If we had a universal agreement on a topic, no one would want to discuss that topic anymore because it has been solved. It is complete. It is finite. It is done. But if we have debate, and we have conflict, we have contrarian views, we have an infinite loop of attention. So it actually pushes out experts, because experts who are researchers in the field, very rarely, if they are a true researcher with an inquisitive mind and that is open, they rarely speak in absolutes, right? They're just like, oh, well, we might, we maybe, we kind of know, because they understand the scientific process, and the scientific method itself is one of probabilities. It's the likelihood of occurrence, not the absolute correctness of occurrence. So in our expert demise, we have experts who don't garner attention because their opinions themselves aren't horribly demonstrative. So the sub-expert, the person who parrots the expert's opinions, can make a very strong opinion, this is right, this is wrong, and then a contrarian view can come up, and then us, the lay people, are stuck trying to navigate, well, this person says this, and this person says this, not even understanding that the expert themselves is kind of like, well, maybe it's more like this, but we get stuck in the infinite loop of contradiction and conflict. So as you, the consumer, please try and understand a little bit more what people are trying to do out there. They're trying to drive attention. And if we have completeness and we have resolution and we have consensus on something, we have no conflict. If we have no conflict, we have nothing to debate and no attention to be garnered. So it's interesting that our current state of affairs is almost a process of 80% right, 20% wrong. And we leave that 20% wrong because not we, the people, decide to do that, but we, the natural feedback loop that we operate in, encourages that, because then that 20% wrong allows for 20% of conflict. I wonder how much this stagnates progress in the grander scheme of things, and how much it holds back our ability to actually build off of stuff, because for every one step or two steps forward, it seems we have to take an intentional one step back for the sake of attention, because whether you get this information on whatever platform you're listening to me on, it's about attention, likes, views, and comments. So a little big brain talk for you this morning, and hope you guys have something to chew on, and hope you enjoyed it.